Should you wait until you retire to learn Spanish? How exactly did this question pop into my head? Because I am not close to retiring anytime soon. It all started when one of the neighbors at my apartment building invited me to his sister's birthday party that they were having outside of the building. And luckily for me, the majority of those who were at this birthday party were all Spanish speaking and primarily from Mexico. So as I started to meet different people within the family of my neighbor, I see another man that I never met before. So I also thought that he was one of the neighbors. Then he revealed to me that he was the husband of my neighbor's aunt. So we started to have a little conversation, and what was really interesting to me is that he was born and raised in the United States. And not only that, he did not speak Spanish, or from what I could perceive at the time, he did not understand it, and he was not communicating with the other family members at this party. He started to ask me how I learned Spanish and kind of what I do, what he does, and his overall goals with the Spanish language. He told me that he was going to wait until he retires to start learning Spanish more seriously because he thought that he would have more time to concentrate on learning Spanish. And because the way that his wife tries to teach him is just by throwing words at him and expecting them to stick. And I should add, during this conversation, I had no idea who the aunt was at this time. But what I did notice was one woman at the party was looking at me and smiling a lot. So I was really confused. Why is this woman looking at me? I haven't met her yet. We haven't talked yet. And then she blurts out, "See, you have proof." And that was the exact moment when I realized, oh, that is definitely my neighbor's aunt. I got quite a good laugh out of that because it seemed like the aunt was trying to encourage her husband to learn Spanish for a while. I got even more interested in this conversation because we started to dive more into the differences within languages. And that surprised me a lot because he had the full understanding that you're not going to understand, maybe every single word when you are learning Spanish. Just like if you are speaking in your native tongue, you might not understand someone who is speaking on the East Coast versus the West Coast and within the United States. At this point, I really wanted to grab him, shake him, and say, start learning Spanish today. He already had a desire to learn Spanish. He had understanding of the different nuances within a language and what kind of difficulties there would be with language learning. And he also had a lot of self-awareness, as in he knew or he was trying to solve the problem of communicating with his wife, for example, when he said to me that the words that his wife would say to him didn't stick. So basically, to me, it just sounded like there was no reason at all to wait until retirement, but to start then and there. I also don't know exactly what level that he was at and how many different words that he knew, but I did try to test it out just by asking him a few questions like, oh, did you understand that? What he just said? Did you understand that? What she just said? And he kind of just said, oh, no, I don't understand like anything that's going on in this conversation. Personally, I don't think that you should wait until you're retired to learn Spanish. And mostly because life is very dynamic. Things are always changing. And I don't think necessarily, like in this case, that he's going to have better concentration after he retires. So it's better just to start exactly where you are. And that's a very big part of language learning because you somehow have to fit in your language studies in with your life. Additionally, I think this topic has a lot to do with another question, which is, are you too old to learn Spanish? Are you too old to learn a language? Because there's a lot of stigmas, at least in my country, when it comes to learning something as you get older. We tend to think, or I won't say we tend to think, but some people tend to think that just because you are older in age, let's say in your 60s or 70s, that your brain is not working as best as it was beforehand, like if you're in your 20s. And I'm not a doctor in any type of way, but I think this type of mentality can really prevent you from even taking that first step to learn Spanish. Because if you're thinking about learning Spanish and you have that in your mind, then it's going to be very easy to not start or to lose motivation really fast because you would just put the blame on your age. versus maybe it's just that you need a better learning strategy. Just like this man that I just met, because he married into a family that was Spanish speaking, so he was always around them. And his wife was also Spanish speaking, and it seemed like she was trying to teach him Spanish, but he still didn't feel like he was really absorbing the language, and he still didn't feel like he could start learning Spanish. Other Spanish learners may hear that and think to themselves, what? This man has the perfect opportunity to learn Spanish. He's always surrounded by Spanish speakers. But for others, it's not always the best method just to hear a whole bunch of Spanish words all day and then to simply start speaking right after. So for those who are debating if they should wait until they retire to learn Spanish, please start today and don't wait. I believe in you. You got this. Muchas gracias por ver este video. I hope you all really enjoyed it and feel really motivated to start learning Spanish. And hasta la próxima.